All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Uh, well, I guess you're all here because I said I was doing this and I dropped a pretty big announcement today. Um, Space Station 14. I know that the reception probably is a little bit mixed because a lot of you are, diehard Space Station 13 players. And I want to, start off right away and say that we're not shelving Space Station 13. It's not going away. Not I can't say what the future is going to be, but right now, this is about mostly just establishing ourselves in a new community with a new game idea, with our own spin to it. So I just wanted to alleviate at least that concern for the time being, because I know that that was probably going to be that was brought up a lot. Uh, and I can't say that there is that won't change in the future. Um, right now, obviously, we have a population problem, but that's Space Station 13 in general. And it's not a decision that we're going to just make right away. It will be something that, we have to talk about and see how things go here in the future. But for the time being, we wanted to take the opportunity to break into the Space Station 14 community because we see a lot of potential there. And now is a good time as we are witnessing maybe more people or more code bases preparing to do the same. Now, it's not like for certain on anything, but, this has kind of been the way the wind has been blowing for a little bit. I know there has been a lot of people asking questions about us moving over. So the first thing I'll say is that we're going to go to 14 with this new project idea. We've already started work. It's not going to be a direct port of Paradise to Space Station 14. It actually is a different idea. It's going to have a little bit of different lore. It's going to take place in the future. I don't want to spoil it too much because there's still some things being written and established. So that's one of the big things that we're looking at right now, and to as far as like getting a theme and stuff together. So you can expect a little bit more on that as sooner rather than later as we kind of start rolling things out. We might even, tease some stuff here in the not too distant future, but right now we are in a crunch to get ourselves established on a solid foundation. So that is our biggest thing right now. This is also a project where we've selected people specifically to start working on this. Not the entire dev team does. They were informed today through the announcement and through some other stuff, but and it was the same for the rest of the staff members. So this is something that we're planning on keeping a little bit under wraps for a little longer. But given the acceleration of things, we decided that this would probably be a better move. I'm just reading. Have I been talking to myself? I hope not. Okay, thank you. I understand that this is not like the ideal for everybody. A lot of people really love what we have going on 13, and they don't want to see any changes or anything like that. And I can understand. It's been a interesting past 3 years for me in development, being on this team and seeing Paradise change over the time, and I can understand like the concerns there, but at the same time, I want us to continue forward in a way that allows us to reach more people and to have, this community expand a little bit from where it is sitting currently now. Because that is the one big, chief complaint, is that we don't have enough people. Well, unfortunately, that's kind of been the case for Space Station 13 in general since the network attacks. As you know, that did drive a lot of people away. We've also been tracking our statistics over the last 5 years, mainly using that as a benchmark year after year to see what kind of player retention we were keeping. I can say that every year there was a decrease. There was never really an increase in players, fortunately. Ever since we started looking at statistics from COVID. And then the other thing is most of the people who came in on a tide, they eventually started to, stop playing the game and stuff. We noticed that too. I mean, we tracked all these data points, and I don't have like a current graph available, honestly, at that point. What's wrong with my microphone? Is it cutting out? Okay, hold on. All right, how about this? Okay. Well, I will try. I'll keep a better eye on it. So the big thing right now is that, and yeah, I've seen a lot of this sentiment, is that 14 has always been somewhat in the picture for us. At first we had no intention of moving over, but I would say that was before the network attacks. That was before the drastic population loss and a few other things. But now that we are here, we think it's one of these things that is kind of necessary for us to do. Now, sorry, I'm getting lost reading the chat here. Let me finish up real quick, and then I'll start taking some questions from you guys. I do want to address concerns and stuff like that. And then I see that there's a couple of people who want to speak. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the text chat questions first, and then I'll let people say their stuff at the end. So we can kind of keep things moving at a certain pace here, because I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time. And there are chances are that I'll be doing one of these again after we get a little bit more things refined. And yeah, but I mean, I know I just dropped the announcement too, so there's probably going to be like people who need to still read it and figure out what they want to ask and stuff like that. So, we'll definitely get to all that, and I want to be as open as possible about everything. It's just for the time being, with how we are rolling things out with our project, there are certain things that I'm not talking about yet, and that will change as we get closer to opening up for general contributions. Right now, we're trying to establish a foundation in general. So that is basically my priority right now, is making sure that the development team that we have drafted for this is moving in that direction. So that's going to be, but it's a process. I mean, this is not this is not an easy or thing that's going to happen overnight, especially with how different the development environment from here is to Space Station 14. They use a different Space Station 14 uses a different development pattern. It uses a different language. It's a lot bigger of a code base, and it's more I want to say enterprise like, but it's more like what you would see in a actual professional game environment or a development environment. Maybe not to a T, but it's got a lot of those same elements. Specifically ECS. So we're still like in ourselves learning a bunch of these things and new practices and stuff like that. So that's like a big factor in all this too, and for us to open up. What is ECS? ECS is Entity Component System, and you can look that up. It's basically it's kind of like how we do components now, but it's a little different. It's going to be the backbone for just about everything. So as of right now, there is no time limit on when this is going to be released. There's no target date. There's nothing like that. We've talked about what one for us would, what a feasible one would be for us, or what our dream target date for moving into some type of alpha or beta status would be. And ideally we want to have something playable for everybody during the summer. It's just going to see, we're just going to have to see how that turns out though. Another thing is that we are going to be looking, before we go and open up to the public, we are going to be looking for other people who do want to develop, who do want to contribute. So it's going to be like a big part of it too, is making sure that we handle that appropriately, because we're going to have a lot of interest, and some people are just, not going to want to do the stuff as far as like development. Because right now we are having to do specific things. It's not just like a free for all, like that you want to work on like a project that you've been thinking of and that's what you're going to do. We have kind of a structured layout being drawn to what needs to be done first, what needs to happen to get to a state where it's playable, and who's going to handle what. So that's kind of where we're at right now in the development stages of things. We're covering all the major bases right now. Mapping is being done. Well, it's getting there. We're writing lore for this stuff. Because specifically that we're not a one-to-one, and it's not going to be a thing that's just a copy over of current 13. It's actually going to be taking place in the future. I'll spoil it a little bit. There's not really any NT involvement, actually. It's going to be interesting. So it's we have a nice little idea that we're going to be playing out. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because it's not going to be like just like a copy and with like things changed and stuff or updated like that. We want to play it off as something that is new and a little bit of a different dynamic, but still familiar as Spaceman game that you all like. No, we're not doing ship test. Definitely not. I don't have the stomach for that. There will be a station, and it will be in space, as far as I know. That is the plan. And I know that we are going to be porting some of our stuff over, for sure. It's just kind of like where we get the when we have the time and when we're at a spot that we feel like we can do that comfortably and not have to worry about dealing with major design issues and stuff like that. I will answer some of the questions right now that I know are going to come up. What about grid-based movement? There's no plans on it right now. I do not plan on on having us do grid-based movement right now. I don't know about the future. But as of right now, we don't want that. And one, because it's going to clash a little bit with what the system is right now. I know that some people are like, oh, we want grid-based movement. Well, I understand that, but it's not as easy as just, making it happen. It will be a big project, if that. So I don't have any intention. Well, tile base is not that deep. Well, right now, it's just not on our radar of things to do. Especially because we want to enter the Space Station 14 community on the same level as everybody else, which, as far as I know, none of them have grid-based movement right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, so right now, it's just that's not the priority. Priority is actually getting something that's playable, getting it hosted, getting the rounds, in order. Because, I don't want to spoil it too much because we're still writing stuff and we're still structuring things, but it's not going to be like your normal space station game with, 10 different type of ant tags and stuff like that. There will be combat, there will be ant tags and stuff, but you're not going to see like clings and vampires and stuff, at least not right now. It's going to be a little bit different, and the game is going to play a little bit differently. So, yeah, you can seal cool rune in a box. You can paint the tram on the box too, so I'll be happy. The general theme, I could give you that. The general theme is that it is a station out in space. But it's there's going to be, instead of like one big NT corporation, there will be a few different factions involved. I'm not going to expand on it more than that because I don't want to spoil anything yet. But yeah, and that's going to lead into a lot of the combat stuff, the PvE, a lot of different things. So we think it's going to be a cool idea, and we just want to make sure that we cover all the bases first before we roll anything out and I spill everything. So with that, I will be doing regular updates when I can. I will be also, if you are considering getting involved on a development footing, you can contact me and we can see what kind of thing you would want to do. I don't have right now. It's like I said, the development team that we have for 13 is not the development team we have for 14. The admins are not the same. A lot of that is not the same. So this is a completely separate project from 13. Fired? I wouldn't say that. You still have your job at 13. But I'm not the one to talk about that specifically.
I can for a second, Berza.
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to the whole thing about that stat there for 1314. Like I said in my little addendum, it's going to be completely separate staff structures that's going to be fully flushed out once we get enough people on the 14 side to man that side of the house. Goal is to keep things separated there and have very minimal crossover due to the different cultures involved between Space Station 13 Paradise and Space Station 14 and how things play, how the server will be. You can't really have the exact same people on both sides because it's kind of clashing ideologies at that point. In addition, my announcement tomorrow will have expansion on that concept about the staff stuff and how some of that will work.
Okay, I'm going to start answering some questions. This is the first one I do want to answer from Engine Tech. The design concept we are going for is going to be a fresh take on the space station experience, not a direct port of Paradise. Actually means because reading that makes me think it's a nice way of saying it's going to be a fork of another Space Station 14 server and be missing just as many features. No, I'm going to say this off the bat. It's not a fork of any other current space station out there except for the Wisden upstream that exists right now. We're building on top of that. We're not forked from anybody else. Not to say that we won't pull in content from places like Delta V, especially since they were nice enough to port some stuff to Delta V that we kind of want for 14 anyway. So that will be
also,
yeah. Go ahead.
Keep in mind that Paradise was originally a fork itself from Bay Station, so you never know, because like calling it just a fork is kind of disingenuous because we started as a fork, then we made it our own. This is a source we will start from, but then we're heavily customizing it to be our own once again.
Yeah, and that's like the big thing right now too, is that we are not going to eventually will be a hard fork from something and we won't pull in as many changes or stuff like that. But right now we are leaning on Wisden for a few things. There's a couple of things that they have in development that we're specifically looking at that we want to move over to when they finish it. And there's also just like bigger structural changes and stuff like that that we will most likely be using as they update it. So we think right now that what we thought about like branching off from a different station, we considered Delta V actually for a big portion of the time, but we decided to go and start vanilla because of the design concept. And Nian's already added. You're a little late for that. To answer the other part of that question or to the other concern I'll say, is about the features. I don't know when the last time anybody here has played Space Station 14, or if it was recently or not, who is concerned about the amount of features that the game has, but it does have a lot. Now, is it surgery system like ours as currently? No, of course not. There's still a lot of stuff in the air regarding that in general. It is one of those things that, there are going to be some things that are missing and some things that aren't. As far as like stuff like science goes, they have a lot already there. They also have more than us in some other ways. Like their cargo system is much better than ours. They have shuttles that basically change how you can play the game. There's so much potential and opportunity there to begin with, like that I can't even begin to explain like all the new possibilities as far as like, cool stuff that we can do that we weren't able to do before. Because like, we had pods at one point, but I mean, it was a very, very heavy drain on the resources that we had available at the time. And, there was other concerns obviously with that. But, like we have this big opportunity to do interesting things that we haven't done before and then improve on some of the stuff that we already have here. There is going to be an effort to port some of our stuff over. I already know that because some of the developers that are already working on the project have talked to me about wanting to do that. And, I agreed to it because I do think that we want some of the stuff that we already have. Like, there's a lot of sprites and stuff, especially that, we want over on the 14 side. We spent a lot of time there, like, doing that. I know Krista just retired from their position, but, that's been like one of these things where we do want to preserve some of that stuff where we think it's appropriate. It's just, we're going to have to like kind of figure some stuff out. And yeah, there are plans to port certain species at this point. I don't know when. I don't know when that falls in the pipeline. Right now, we're still establishing the order of things that need to happen first. So it's just kind of, I don't want to say this to you guys, but you gotta have to wait and see on some of it, before I can actually tell you one thing or the other is going to happen. Because some of the stuff we're still trying to figure out for ourselves. It's a big process and undertaking. I mean, I probably said that like a dozen times now, but it really is. It's not something that we can this is not something that we easily jumped into. It's not something that, we thought, okay, this is the idea. Let's start it right now. And there was a bunch of meetings that we had. There was talks about what we would do. And there's still talks about what we're going to do. I mean, we're, at one point we were meeting every weekend. We still have a little more to flesh out on some specific things before we move into like full stream development. I can say a lot of it right now is we are going to be gutting some things and then, replacing them with others. We have a lot of writing to do in particular, like a lot of writing. So that's going to be one of the big things. And there are other stuff that we want to get completely finished before we even consider opening it up to the public. And I guess, should I tell them the name? Does it matter at this point? What do you think, Death? Like, do we want to spill that bean already? Because it's not.
Sorry, I was in the other room listening. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and do that. It's not that big, and it'll give a little bit of teaser.
Sure. Well, so it's not going to be Paradise 14. We're part of the same community, but this project is something different. So we are Oasis for 14. That's going to be our name. It's something that we still need some stuff drawn up for and stuff like that. But yeah, we figured it'd be a little catchy, but we didn't want to necessarily associate it just and just be like, oh yeah, this is Paradise 14. It's not, because we're not doing the same thing. So it's just, we thought the idea of keeping things separate was good. And because we don't have, as of right now, there is no intention of shuttering anything else. Like I said, I can't speak for the future. I don't know what's going to happen. We still have people developing on stuff for 13. We still have, movement there. It isn't stopping, but we do have a drive of developers who will be working on the 14 project. So don't bring that up, Cool Rune. Your mind's always in the gutter. So at this point, do we have, we have another thread for, I should have asked for a thread for questions specifically. All right, go ahead and fire off your questions now, and I will try to answer them, and then I'll open the floor up to other people and respond to them in voice after that. Will I port Pharaz? No. When can I apply for admin 2.0? That's going to be a conversation with Denth. And one that he will touch on with the admins at some point. Yeah, as far as like, I guess I'll touch on that real quick. As far as the map go, no, we're not porting any of our maps over. We are in the process of designing a new map. Box is dead. Yeah, kind of. It will exist on 13, but I'm not bringing it to 14. No way in heck. Will the Skrull keep their same beautiful sprite that they have here on 13? As far as is our Skrull a race in 14 anywhere? I don't even know. Yeah, we thought about bringing Paradise all the way to 14, but we decided that we were going to do it a little bit differently, and that we're going to bring some of the same design elements and features over to 14. But we didn't really think that. I mean, we still plan on adding quite a bit from our end, I imagine, but doing a 1-to-1 was not something that we wanted to do necessarily because of other concerns that we had. Mainly because we want to kind of change the feeling of rounds in general. So it's more, it's going to be a different feel, you know. It's not going to be the same like way that rounds are structured right now. So that's going to be a little bit different. Will finances be shared between the two, or is it an entirely separate thing as well? That is that is a good question, one that I can't answer completely right now. I can say that Oasis is part of the Paradise organization. Yes, AA is on board. He will be handling hosting stuff. I mean, we're still working on that, but yeah, he's on. As far as like the organization goes, there's some things that I cannot talk about that specifically today. But there are some things coming up very, 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 very soon. And that, Denth will just, keep your eyes open for it. That's all I can say. But as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, we are still part of the same community, but as far as like, what about funds and stuff like that, that's not a question that I can necessarily answer completely right yet. So I'm going to pass for the rest of that one and say we'll come back to that. Don't you dare jab at my furry PFP. Will it be first lap? I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Paradise is right now, right? I don't intend to take out any of the races. They already have Volps, so you're taken care of. Add more. Yeah, actually, probably. Yeah, actually, Seren, that is one that I want specifically. That is something I can actually take from our friends at Delta V. Felinids? I don't know. Where's Chuga? Where's Chuga? We probably will bring Taj over. With all this. No, Volp's already there. Sorry, you're too late. Same with Nian. So they call him. Vox is there too, or I think Vox is on Delta V. We don't have it as a present, but it will. Unathi is there, but it's not called Unathi. That will be changed. I am sure to Unathi because we want to keep like that sense of lore just in the future. So, how do silicons exist at the moment? They're limited. They're definitely not as free as ours is on Paradise right now. So, um, now what level we change that to, I don't know yet. That's not something that we're going to be dealing with right away. I don't want to put any label on it like that. None of that MRP LRP shit. It's just RP. Yeah, ERP. It's a fucking furry server. What do you expect? No. No, we don't have any like intention on giving ourselves a label like that. I'm development lead on this. I am leading the charge currently. There's not an HC structure there now. Okay, what's your staff structure question? Is the vibe going to remain colorful? Like, I mean, I want it to be a good vibe. I don't want it to be toxic. Do design balance teams exist again or still or unified? None of those teams exist right now. I don't know what the plan is for that yet. I haven't decided. Naming rules in general have not been completely defined yet. Why? What's your take on naming rules? Let's hear it. I mean, I already think I know what you're gonna say, but I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know, Marm. It's not. Will we have blatant reference names? I don't know. Well, I'll ask the lore team if that's what the direction they want to take. I don't care what you do to Walter White. Let's answer some other questions. As far as art style and stuff goes, that is going to be an interesting one. I don't have a current answer for that because we do not have really a current sprite team to make those decisions. Unfortunately, Krista retired the other day, and that was our last sprite team member. But we haven't gotten to like having any established art styles yet or anything like that. Rather, when you imagine the server, do you think bleak or colorful? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say that we're probably somewhat sticking towards our own art style that we have now, but maybe a little bit updated because of clowns are already there. There's an entertainment department. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but clowns won't go away. Mimes? I don't care about mimes. I don't like mimes. No, I imagine that they'll be part of the entertainment department. I don't know like how we're updating them or anything like that. What is going to have in common with Paradise with which current SS14 doesn't? You mean in terms of features or like story or? Um, well, feature-wise, we'll probably be moving some stuff over. I know that Emerald, who happens to be in the audience, wants us to bring the reactor over, and I said absolutely, we'll be doing that at some point. We might update it, or I might ask them to update it a little bit, but we'll see. I didn't spring that on them. That now they know. If they're in here listening still. As far as like how it's going to look and how the rounds are going to be and stuff like that, it's not going to. Let's start like this. The Syndicate is not there. NT is not there. They're not a part of the equation. You might see old relics that reference them, but it's not, it's not in the cards right now. I mean, in this universe, yeah, maybe like Steve the Fourth. Is that right in years? Yeah, whatever iteration of Steve we're on now, add like 5 or so to it, and we'll go there. It is in the future. Yeah, probably something like that. I just want the game to feel like SS13 more than it does feel like on other servers. If I join the team for UI, I'd like to start killing the UI. Feel completely. So that's a tough one to say here. We did add chat tabs, actually. We have a PR for chat tabs, so on our branch, we already finished it. So that will still be a thing. There's some things about the UI that's not really that good, but we do have chat sorting, so that's like a big one that we wanted. So we are bringing that to the 14 universe because I don't know any server that does have it right now, but I haven't been looking around too much lately. Oh, about the what I mean? You mean like how it looks specifically? I mean, we can update the style. I don't really have any issue with that. I don't want it to look like TGUI necessarily, but I don't have a problem with updating the style. I want the color scheme to be a little bit different. I mean, we're not NT anymore. We're not. That's not the focus. Saren, did you want to ask something? If you got to go, like I didn't mean to like not have you answer. You have your question answered or something. It's easier for me to go through with typing and stuff. No, you already leave. I think so. Well, he can ask me later. I don't play Deadlock, so I don't know what that's referencing. Do we have dev documentation to support people who want to dev? We have a combination of yeah, I can do some VC questions. But to answer that last one, it's we have as far as like joining the team and stuff goes, I have to think about that. And as far as dev documents go, I have to think that we are going to lean on Space Station 14's current documentation for some things, and then our plan is to do some tutorials and stuff like that on other things, and then look at some of our 14 friends. How's current doc? What do you mean? There's not like a completely established one. I'm writing a PR. I have a PR open right now. Oh, like yeah. I mean, you can look at the Space Station 14 development wiki. I mean, like most of that stuff we're just referencing right now, and like some HackMD stuff that people have made over the years. How many current devs are involved? Numbers, not names. Let me look. That's not just coders and everything like that. 21. How many of those are coders? Well, let me see. I'd say about 14 or 15, somewhere around there. No, definitely not 16 or 17. We have some people even. As far as I know, Avernus will still be a part of 13. It will not be used in 14. We're starting a new map. What kind of player base is the goal for 14? That's a very tough question to answer. I don't know. We want to foster a community that's not toxic. I'll tell you that much. So we're kind of try to, keep that in our frame of mind when we as we develop things. Are there any plans to change the 13 server based on its current population? No, not anything direct. I'd have to. That's a conversation that I have to have with other people that I can't answer by myself. What's being announced tomorrow? Well, you have to wait till tomorrow to see what's being announced tomorrow.
In addition to number 2 for his question about the population, if the population does get very high for the Space Station 14 server, I do plan on working with Affected to open a second server for us. So we'll have 2 Space Station 14 servers. That way we don't overwhelm a single server with too many people.
What else? How should Lord Team proceed? Do we continue writing what we're doing now and move to writing for 14? I'm gonna let who's in here from lore. I will get back to you on that one. I have to talk to somebody about that specifically. But like you can still continue to write lore for 13. 13 is not like I have to emphasize this again, is that we're not shutting down 13. It's not, I mean, right now that's not the case. I can't say, like specifically that will stay that way, because I mean right now you guys have seen some of the numbers that we're getting. It's not like a very easy situation, and we're paying for a server box to to host this stuff, and it's one of those things where, like, if nobody's on there, then we're wasting resources and money. But like I said, that's not really a thing that we're not at that point yet, let's say. No, we're not doing loot boxes. We're doing season passes. What would go against AGPL? That's one I'm interested in. Oh, commercial stuff? Yeah, we're not doing any of that. Especially, like, I don't even want references to Xenomorphs in there, or like the alien version of Xenomorphs, to be honest with you. And I'm very this thing that's entering Steam, it's gonna have more eyes on it. Yeah, that's the legally distinct ones are okay. That's what we'll be aiming for. Yeah, they did. No, CM did, yeah. Which is part of the reason. Is Beagle still in here? I saw him talking earlier. No, but I mean, technically we will be on Steam. Unless they bar us from the hub for some reason. Which I don't see why they would. Will terror spiders be able to come across? I think they have like terror spiders to an extent, but I don't know. I don't want to talk about certain things yet, but I will say that the way that the round structure will be different in the sense that no, it's not dynamic. Not at all, actually. It's just different. No, none of that, actually. Can I elaborate on how the rounds will be different? I can give you a gist because we're still figuring some stuff out. No, it won't be extended forever. It will be I'm trying to think of a way to word this properly without giving out the whole plot, because that plot's still being developed. All right. Voice chat questions in a moment. I promise. Once I answer this question, I will say that rounds are going. I mean, like, as far as like time and stuff goes, that will mostly probably be the same. There will be antags in the sense that have objectives and stuff. The big thing is that there are multiple factions involved. It's not NT versus the Syndicate, so there's going to be let's just say another interest involved in there, and that for like as far as like motivation and stuff goes. So that will change kind of the dynamic of things. No, not that type of factions, no. They'll be more commercial, let's say. Kind of like Sev Eris. I would say that it does have some inspiration from there. Yes. Will botany still be able? As far as I know, but I haven't actually looked at Space Station 14 botany too deeply. But I'm pretty sure they'll be able to commit some type of crime. Okay. Is the developer team ready to rewrite portions of the code base to make it feel actually playable for SS13 players? It depends what you mean by that. That's a lot. I know, but that's a question I gotta I need some definition on. Okay. Well, while you're typing that up, I'm gonna let Bob the Enlightened on stage. All right, Bob, take it away.
Yo, what's up, chat? Hopefully my mic is all right.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, so I just have a question. So once SS14 opens up, there will be some issues that I kind of think might be having faced. One thing is that it might cannibalize players from SS13 player Paradise server. And since you've already said that it's already a low player count and hasn't been growing, maybe you could loosen up the rules so there is a bit of interchanging so that SS13 server would basically fill up with some of the new people coming into SS14. Because I fear that if 10 people jump over and we already have like 20 player rounds, it's going to be kind of problematic, especially if those 10 players sorry, are like the constant players that constantly play, like for example, Kitty, Min, or somebody like that. So I would just ask maybe loosen up the rules.
I mean, there are no rules in place. I mean, you can, if you feel like playing 13, you can play 13. If you feel like playing 14, you can. But the thing is that right now is that we don't have a consistent player base right now to stock rounds in 13 like we once did. It's not something that it's just a fact of the matter, unfortunately. I mean, there are times when, like I remember playing in my time zone at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and there's still be like 40 or 50 people on. It's just not that anymore. There's there's not 120 people during prime time. I can't, and the other thing is I cannot control where those people go. I mean, like if you want to play 13, you can. If you want to play 14, sorry, I didn't answer a DM. You can as well. There's not any hard fast rule about one or the other. It's one of those things where it's like, do I think that certain people are gonna, want to play 14 over 13? I can't say that for certain, but like the other whole shoe of this is that we're starting. It's not even we're moving. We're starting a project on 14 because we want to bring people in, and that's just, there is way more, like 3 times as many players on 14 at the same time as there is 13. It's just that's the truth of it.
And something I will point out with that is that Space Station 14 on Steam right now is in playtest status. It's not even like actually launched yet. When that goes full launch, it's going to appear on the Steam front page. I'll let you confirm from that what you think, what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say like for certain how how many people will bring in from 14, how many people from 13 will go to 14, or maybe people from 14 will check out our 13 server. It's just that's not something that we can necessarily control. And man, I can't even pull up the Steam chart. It's down right now. It's not something we can really control. I mean, it's like the thing about it is right now is that there's just not enough people playing Space Station 13 in general. And then once you look at how many people are playing Space Station 13, you look at what servers they're on. It's not even like regular vanilla servers other than maybe Monkey. But even then, it's like it's very limited. Like who's got the hub open? How many players are on the hub right now on 13? I'm curious. So 14, 1500. Okay. 1200. So I'm seeing, let's say between 12 and 1400. And it's a little bit past, well, nah, it's okay playing right now. Space Station 13 or Space Station 14 almost has double that. Not quite right now, but there's a lot of people on right there. So it's definitely more people, but I've seen it peak at like, I don't know. I think the last peak I saw was 4,400 people playing Space Station 14 at once. So it's quite significantly. I've never seen that many people playing 13. So it's quite a lot more.
I'm going to just throw this into the community meeting to give an idea of how this is going. Space Station 14 stats.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a lot of people.
That's what?
Oh, sorry, I got cut out. I said that's quite a few people.
Yeah, it's just, and you can see the trend too. It's just going up. It's not. It's we just it's more stable. It performs better. There's just a lot to it at that point where it's just there's a lot more to.
But I was mostly talking about promotional, maybe promote SS13 as well, just to keep up the population, rather than, for example, Minecraft has tryout Terraria, and basically you would have the same thing on the server, where you would just link to it.
I will be going into some of those details tomorrow about the announcement I have.
Okay, that sounds good. Second question. Since none of the maps are going in, can we will the sneak peek? No, actually, better question. Will we get an upgraded engineering role? So basically, Atmos and engineering, will those be updated as well?
Will engineering be updated in 14? I mean, it will. I imagine the intention is to build on top of the content that's available on 14 right now when it comes to engineering, especially with bringing over our nuclear engine that that Emerald made and stuff like that. So, in that sense, yes, but I cannot say for certain about specific department content yet.
Right.
Mostly it's still things that were kind of we're not necessarily planning right now, but it's not the priority of that. Is the more of the thing is getting the structure and getting these factions in place and stuff like that, and building a map that will facilitate that.
All right. Cool. That's all my questions then.
All right. Thank you.
Send me down to the chat.
Yep. Here you go. Okay. Here we go. Here's your chance to speak. Introduce yourself. Tell the audience who you are.
And they're gone.
Mike's trouble.
Testing. Okay, sorry. My my hardware mute. Anyway, hello, I'm Pharaz. I play Space Station 14. I have roughly 1,500 hours. I don't know. I like Paradise. Oh, why does everyone call me Bob? How did a guy do that yesterday? Because he didn't want to say Pharaz. Anyway, first question is, will the mechanics of the game stay roughly the same? Like, for example, Sek usually has non-lethals, a gamma armory, other things like that. Will that be the same?
That's a good question. I can say that it's going to be one of those things where we will probably keep a lot of the same stuff in place like that. Yes. Gosh, I need to look at this documentation real quick. Where is this? Can answer that question a little bit better once I read this. But to give you a oh wait, here it is. Actually, I don't think we wrote that one in yet. Yeah, okay, so that's not really necessary. That's okay. Will the technology be the same? It will probably be similar, if not the same, to that extent. We're talking about there are some things that in particular that we're looking at as far as optimization goes, because we noticed that guns have like some issues on 14. There's some like lag and difference in there. So we're going to try to optimize those to be a little bit more efficient. But the core like mechanics of that should probably stay the same. I don't know if we plan on tweaking any values yet. That hasn't been something we have gotten close to yet. It's more of like once we establish what our the flow of a round is, like how we expect antags to play out and stuff like that, or the combat in general, which I'm not going to spoil yet. That's going to have to we're going to have to like test it. And that's the other thing too, is that we will, just to segue into this a little bit, we will be doing play testing at certain points once we establish something. It won't be something that is like public opened. It will be private. There will be people that we invite to it. I will like have people request to join it. Because we plan to do like an alpha thing and then to like a beta, and we'll open in the beta, and that's when we'll start like opening up the code base for contributions and stuff. So there will be like actual testers at some point. Is there expected time frame? No. Not. We have goals that we want to get to, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, not to go too deep into the weeds. But yeah, I would say that mechanics wise and stuff, it will probably have a very similar feel to what now on Delta V, and with maybe our own little twist to it. Any other questions for me or for Denth?
Yeah. Second question is, will it still be like 7 departments with like clowns, mimes, the rest?
I don't want to spoil too much.
Don't do it.
Nah, I can't answer that. I can't answer that yet. Can't.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it.
Roles will exist, but
roles will exist. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Thank you, Dent, for keeping me in check. Yes, roles will exist. That's what I will say right now. There will be things to do.
All right.
Will there be a clown? Yes, there will be a clown. Will there be an
Oh,
engineer?
God.
Yes, there will be an engineer. Will there be a mine? Yeah, there'll be a mine.
Okay, good. The only other thing I wanted to raise was the concern with, like, I don't know, everyone knows Paradise for it being Paradise. The further you stray, the more, like, strain you put on, like, making new sprites for different things. That's just kind of a concern of mine.
You think? I'm sorry. My hearing is really messed up. I'm like deaf in one ear. So, what? Are you worried that we're losing our identity by doing this? Is that what you're saying?
Somewhat, yeah. Then it's more strain on, like, porting stuff over.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, as far as the ability to, like, okay, first off, because I know you are a content reviewer with Delta V and stuff. I like, would you say that your concern is more that us porting or not being able to port stuff over from 13 to 14 as we have it now, or from whatever we develop in the 14 sphere?
It's just more like the development time is going to take longer if we stray further from the original, and we need to make new sprites for different. I don't know what you're planning, but it sounds quite different from the original Paradise Station.
It's I would say that it's not. It's you. You won't necessarily have a problem porting things over now. It's I will say. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that just reminded me of something. There are, like, certain things that while we are in the development stages that we are right now, that we do plan on porting over from our current 13 server. So that will be part of our development focus. And so we don't, like, see that being a slowdown there. Now, as far as, like, big projects that are happening on 13 right now, we told some people who were involved in some bigger stuff to look at what they were doing and try to, like, map out, like, how long things would take and when we could switch focus on certain things. There's no intention to abandon any feature or progression that we have already made in development to certain things into 13. Like, I don't think we plan to abandon Avernus. Pollard is still working on Space Ninja. Oh, it's a map that we've been making. Yeah. That's a ground map.
So it's mainly just gonna be, like, changing the branding from, like, NT to, like, something else.
Sort of. Go into
details.
Yeah, I can't really. Yeah, sort of. I'll say that.
Thinking.
It's not going to be nations either.
The space station does have ground.
Yes.
So yeah.
I don't care if you don't believe me, Engine Tech. I'm telling you the truth. It's not nations.
Corporations?
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe some things. Maybe it will be a little bit more nuanced than that. But you'll have to find out. Yeah, we're doing Space Amazon.
The question's how strict are we going to be on, like, content edition? Because, like, Delta V has this problem where you just, like, add in sprites that don't really match the art style at all. as well as species. They just add species that are like kind of just not needed. Oh, and there's no lore for Delta V. I know Paradise does lore, so I'm hoping that goes well.
So, as far as like, do we plan on? I mean, as far as like species go, I would say that the eventual idea is to move all our species over to 14. That is something that I don't see us not doing. We will probably also end up adapting. Like, I think we'll most likely end up using, the version of Volps that I don't know. That's something I haven't really talked about with the current development team yet.
I heavily prefer Delta V's Volps. I'm not a big fan of Wizard's Den's Volpkinen, but I feel like that should be held to a vote.
That's one of the things though that we haven't really established yet. It's one of the things that we will have to talk about. There's more than one major server on Space Station 14 Cool Room. It's just that Delta V happens to be very close to Paradise, and they've ported some of our stuff over. So basically, I can't give you a definitive answer because it's not something that we've talked about as of yet with the development team. But if we are doing the majority of our sprites, I would imagine that it would be a lot easier for us to handle it in that way by bringing over our version of Volps and everything else. So that's quite a possibility. I would have to talk that over with the current development team, and I mean, that's like, we don't have, as of now, like where we went from having like a balance and design team to grouping it all into one and stuff like that. We do not have that right now. There is no design team. There is no authority saying like, we're going to port this, but not that. So it's more like that we're going to have to discuss it. Like, I mean, there probably will be in the future. I don't know what structure we're going to stick to with that. That's something to talk about down the road after all the foundational stuff has changed and when we're closer to opening it up to the general public to contribute to. I mean, I'll be candid about it right now. I am out in the road directing traffic on what's being done right now, and I am kind of setting the precedent of what's important and what can be what we can work on or what we need to work on right now. So that is something that we'll have to eventually go over, especially with like some of our ideas. It's just we do not have enough in place yet to be like, okay, we're going to have like 10 people again who are going to vote on content, and we have like all these ideas and we're going to port this and that. It's just we're not at that place yet. To be honest with you, we were not planning on announcing this for like maybe another month. It just, certain events happened and it spiked a lot of conversations, and we thought that this was the right time to go ahead and release that. And that's why we're going to be having another announcement tomorrow about something else, but I'm not going to say anything else on that one.
Right. This is more of a minor question, but like, will we be bringing over a lot of Space Station 14's like Care Bear updates? Like, they put like emergency EVA suits in the EVA lockers. Sorry, emergency O2 lockers, as well as like putting food and stuff in the survival kits, which
I noticed. So part of our development process right now is that we are writing out a bunch of the NT stuff, like because of the theme that we're setting for this whole thing. And I imagine like some of those features we're going to see will be part of our demolition phase. There is stuff that we plan on ripping out in general. So I can't say for certain on emergency EV8 stuff and the like of that. I do know what you're talking about because I did play on Delta V for quite a bit of time. Well, a little bit. I did see. The first time I was on Delta V was when it was still called Neanotration or whatever.
Oh, that's years ago.
Yeah. I was whitelisted to that just to look around. And no, I played Delta V for a couple months recently to kind of get a feel for it. Because this wasn't the first time that we approached doing a project like this. We were feeling it out about this time last year, actually. Just to kind of like think about things. And then like later on, once we decided that we were gonna, kind of do this, it was a place that I was like looking into a lot. It was Delta V and stuff. I played a lot of Medbay. So it's I even did a couple PRs for Delta V, so but not anything like big, but it's more or less you're trying to get an understanding of how people operated. You have any additional questions? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rush you or anything. I'm curious.
No. It's at all. You can return me to chat. Thank you.
No, thank you. And like I said before, I'm definitely going to be asking you a bunch of questions because you have that experience in the development spheres for the things that I'm very interested in. Because that's like one of our things with where we're at right now is that we're so new to the 14 community in general that we haven't like talked to a lot of people from the other side, and like we follow along and stuff like that. Like we saw you guys take corporate judo. I think it was you guys, or maybe it was Goob. I don't know who took it. Yeah, we saw people take corporate judo. We saw some of our other stuff being taken, and we're like, oh, that's cool. We didn't realize people were like, interested in our features that we were making and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, but to be able to like converse with you guys, that's going to be a huge thing for us. And I'm happy to, if you want like to bring over more content or whatever, I'm happy to help facilitate that, like whether it's from our 13 or eventually from our 14 stuff, because I imagine that our developers have some ideas cooking of their own about what they want to do now that they're on a new engine and everything. So we'll see how that all unfolds.
I really like YAML ops. So just like making new clothes and stuff. I don't really do anything like on the C# backend system and all that. That's I don't know that there's tons of like people in Delta V maintainers, contributors that are willing to help with C# stuff there. And Tojo Smart too.
Yeah, well, that's like the other thing too, is like I know a lot of, but that's actually kind of like a good thing in a way, sort of, is that there are like levels where people can focus on doing stuff that's strictly YAML and still make a difference to the game, whereas like, more of like introducing more components and component systems in general is going to be something that we want to get to eventually. And that we're going to have to for certain things, I imagine, for it to be the way we want it to be. So I tried to write a component for surgery for a while ago. I had most of it done, but I don't think Delta V was interested in it at the time. So
yeah, apparently getting rid of whatever it is, shiphead, because Goob shitcode. The system is literally called shipmed, so they're gonna get rid of that.
I heard about it.
Wisdom's new body.
We're keeping our eyes on the heck is it called? I'm keeping my eyes on off-brand medical from upstream. It's got a lot of potential, and it's very similar to what we were going to be looking for in surgery anyway, or in medical in particular, because we're not really a fan of doing chems for everything. We want to be more
like
surgery based.
System.
Yeah, so we want wounds and different like aspects of that, and so we're looking at that specific change from Wisden if they get. I mean, I know it could be in development hell for a little bit longer, but that's something that we're looking at as far as like our medical content goes. So I would say that we are going to like look at a bunch of different code bases. Like we've been exploring. All the developers have been playing on different code bases and trying to look at like what would be interesting to grab and what we would need and this, that, and the other thing. So that's just going to be like a matter of kind of like seeing at the time when we're about to get closer to opening everything up, or when we're working on specific content for what we'll just call it departments for now. You know, like we want to see what's available and like closer to what we have already in 13. So that's going to be like the big thing. And it's like, you know, out of all the traditional Space Station 14 servers that I've played, I have not seen one do anything drastically different from medical. I mean, just mostly memorizing chems and stuff like that. So it's not, you know, it's not really, it's like one of my biggest things that I want to see changed.
Yeah. I played 13 once, and the med was way more interesting than 14's potion system, where you just inject magical healing.
Yeah.
Liquid number 2.
Yeah, that's one place where it's always been a little bit lacking, unfortunately. I mean, even when I first started developing for Paradise, I was not really happy about where our medical system was. But then I played 14 and I was like, oh, and I'm talking about like years ago. And I'm like, when there was still they were just coming out with better chems and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. Guess we have it a little bit better. I mean, yeah. I learned to play on B Station like back in, God, I don't even remember, like 2018 or 2019, something like that. I don't remember. They had like their own version of medical that was like a amalgamation of TG medical. It still had cloning, but it also had like their own twist on some things. And it was like a lot of like surgery based stuff. And I hope that we can, get to some of these systems that are in 14 that need polish and kind of like work on that. So that is the plan. I was pointed to Off-Brand Medical by somebody the other day. And I read it and I said, wow, this is basically exactly what we're looking for. So it's we're gonna see how that one folds out. It's still active in development, thankfully. So I'm hoping the best for that one.
Got it. Oh, that's all my questions. You can return your chat.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Seren, now's your chance. I know you've been waiting.
Oh shit, hello?
Hello, welcome to the stage.
Most of my questions got answered earlier, but I just got another one. Is the overall goal trying to capture an entirely new audience on 14, or are you trying to get some from 14 and some from here on Paradise as well?
My mic working? Oh, okay, there it goes. I would say that is a the way I would say it is this is that we want to capture a larger audience with 14 and keep the people around that we have in 13, especially like some of the players, some of the staff, like all these people who want to continue on with stuff. If everything just goes bottom up with the way 13 is right now,
Yeah.
I rather have something than nothing. So this is our attempt to kind of preserve our traditions within Space Station, but be a little bit different, a little bit updated, and a little bit more unique. So I would say it's a project for both sides. It's for 13 players who may want something different. It's for 14 people who are, exploring for a station that they want to play on, or they want to try something different. That's kind of the idea. We don't want to. We do not want to be a 14, or we do not want to be a clone of the regular 13 stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about, because it's already 14 already.
It's oversaturated.
Yeah.
So that was like when I first started like pitching all this stuff and forming the project. Like talking, even like me and Denth were talking about it. It's not something that we wanted to like focus on. Was like just cloning what we had. We wanted to put it into a way that made us a little bit more unique, but still like gave us a nod to like where we are and where we come from, I guess, in that sense. It's part of the reason why like we're not like doing certain like development stuff that like we had been doing before. It's more like we want to just like solidify our position on being something that's different but familiar in that sense, and like why we're not going with the NT thing, why we're changing the year that it takes place and stuff like that. So like all this stuff comes into play. But I wouldn't say it's as simple as we're trying to capture one base over the other or move guys from here to there. It's not really like that, because I'd have like if 13 like continues to persist in some way that has a healthy population and stuff like that, and is not like just a drain of resources to for 4 guys to hop on the server and
I get that.
Like, I mean, anybody can spin up a server and do that. I mean, we exist because at one point we were pulling in 120 people at a time, or sometimes more.
Speaking of that, is there kind of like a general population range that would be like optimal for it to at least function?
That's a very good question. It is something that we haven't we don't know what kind of interest we're going to have yet, so that will be something that we will adapt as we go. I would say that we definitely want to aim for like 50, 60. It would be ideal at the, if we get more, then that's great. If we get a little less, whatever. I mean, we're trying something here. There's not any like hard fast goal that we're trying to, there's no target number. There's nothing that we're trying to necessarily hit. This is just a project that we want to launch that has the potential to grow into something bigger. And we think that just given the talk on the Beyond side of things and other space station servers and stuff like that who are looking at similar issues that we have as far as population goes and everything, that this ultimately is like the goal, because it's far more. There's far more of a chance of sustaining it and sustaining a community by moving or starting a project on 14 than there is like just sitting and waiting for like the inevitable,
Yeah, just waiting for a tide that'll never come.
Unfortunately, yeah. And there are some people here who know my opinions about Beyond and its development and stuff like that. I'm not going to hash it out.
It's a piece of shit. Everybody knows that.
Well, whatever I might think. There are issues, and it's just there's not a lot of. I just don't see it being addressed. Where Beyond is not packaged in a way that is attractive to people who've not played the game before. You look at it and it looks like fucking malware. The website looks like it's from the 90s. It's probably because it is.
That reminds me, you guys track all the population data, right? Is that just for Beyond in total, or
what
for Paradise? Because I'm just
well, for me, I tracked specifically the Paradise data. I don't know, Dent, if you want to answer the Beyond stuff in particular.
I'm just curious if CM has seen any population increase.
They're asking about the population of space or Beyond in general and Space Station 13. I said I don't know those numbers, but I know that.
No, I don't have anything current right now. The thing I was using for tracking numbers on Space Station 13 is down now. It's been down since December last year. But last I saw, it was pretty much when I did it year by year, it was a straight diagonal line from the top left of the chart to the bottom right of the chart for population on Space Station 13. Yeah, and the concurrent new users was below 20 in a few months.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's not good for Station 13 right now.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason we decided to move on with this is because we do not want to be in a position where that we're too late to have anything or at all, because there are people in this community that I would call my friends, and that I've been here making PR since I don't know when is 2023, 2022, something like that, end of 2022, beginning of 23. I don't want to lose that or anything, it's the whole reason that I switched my major and I'm going for a bachelor's and a master's in software engineering is because of Paradise. I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't getting into coding and stuff like that and learning about developing something. That's actually part of my inspiration. I was studying IT before that. So
I will say I'm glad you guys came out with this stuff, because I've been pretty apprehensive to 14 as a whole.
I know, I saw your post today.
Yeah, it's just not the same. But with all the information about about Oasis, I'm kind of excited. I'll try it. I don't know if I have 5 more years of Space Station at all left in me, but I'll try it.
That's all. Man, that's all I can ask anybody to do is say, hey, if you like what we had, with 13, go and try whatever we're doing with 14, because that's something that we're gonna put our time and effort into. And right now it's something we have been. We're not, like I said, we're not giving up on any of our current work on 13. I will be perfectly honest though. Anybody who is on the development team on 14, who is also on the development team on 13, they're probably going to, at a specific point, focus on developing for 14 for a little bit. I'm not saying that that's everybody. And I'm not saying that that's like we're throwing everything out and we're closing it down and we're not doing reviews and all that stuff. I'm going to still have people doing all that. I'm going to try to even do stuff myself, like with managing, being the development lead for both code bases. I'm going to try, my best to keep both those trains moving. And we have the headquarters on 13, maintainers and stuff from both.
People here will move over because that's really what keeps me here. And that's what I like about it. The community here is really great.
Well, I did do some polling last year a couple times. The majority of times when I did do the polling, people said that they would move over, or they would try it because they're here for that reason. They're not here just for, to play Paradise 13. They're here for the community too. And I mean, that makes me happy because that means, we're doing something right. And I hope that it can be what we had, but I think, we have a lot of, I also think that there's, and I'll be open about it right now. I think there's a lot of flaws with our 13 community. I think that there was a lot of design decisions that came even before me that, that caused like certain types of animosity and stuff like that. So I would like us to we've talked about this a lot in the development cycle that we're in right now, and that's making a environment and gameplay that doesn't promote like people getting so toxic and stuff like that, and because and that's we have a lot of it.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's one of the things I'm worried about because 14 does have this is like a very big generalization, but absolutely a younger, kind of less mature player base just by the fact that it's on Steam and more accessible. So I think I asked this earlier. I'm kind of curious, like what kind of like player base that we're gonna try to cultivate here.
I don't know. I can't say what type of player base we're trying to cultivate, but I'll tell you what type of atmosphere we're trying to cultivate, and that's one that is free of toxicity. And that means that we're not going to allow I will say that in that regard, we will be putting our foot down on certain behavior. We will be limiting our content in a sense that we won't be adding certain things that we know will generate that animosity.
So no D-chat?
That is the biggest thing that I've been talking about or thinking about actually, as far as when I talk about toxic atmospheres and behavior. And if it were up to me completely, I would get rid of D-chat, but it's not I can't say that it's going to be. Yeah, see, that's the thing I was trying to tell them before when I was talking to my development team, is that dead chat is a meme on 14. They don't do dead chat like fucking 13 does. I don't know why, but it's crarazy. But basically,
I think we still have it. We just needed more crackdowns on like repeatedly
but
people.
What Pharaz is saying is right. It's not in dead chat. It's always OOC in post round. And so, but that is the thing, is that we're trying to avoid that behavior, and chances are we're going to be putting our foot down on it. Like if we see it, we're just not going to allow it. I know, like, freedom of speech and all that and stuff, but at the same time, it's been such a drag for a lot of the community to go into Discord and see like people mauling about the population or this or that or the other thing, or bitching about content or whatever it is. And it's like, I mean, even people openly talking shit about like developers and contributors and stuff like that. And that's not something that I want to condone. And it's not, and then we're not going to, that's
Yeah,
like,
I do think there should be more things like the admin feedback channel, so there at least is a space for it, but really heavily moderated, and so there's no toxicity.
B Station has the salt mines. That's the only place you're allowed to do that. And you still can't and actually they ban people, and the only place that you can speak in is the salt mines after that happens for a little while. That's funny. Yeah, that's what we were doing on B Station. The salt mines.
That's funny. I don't think it's a good idea though. It's easy way to get an echo chamber with other.
Yeah, that's mostly what it turns into. And it's very telling when you see the same people in there and the same arguments and stuff like that. But to answer that question, like to go back to the main point, a lot of what we want to do is avoid that cultivating that type of atmosphere to begin with, and that's without giving away too much of the plot. For the time being, there won't be like a real reason to sit in dead chat. I'll say that.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I will keep it at that. I will say that that will be expanded on a little bit more later, and you'll understand what I mean when I say that. But right now, it's not. We want people. The focus is to have people in the round. Right? We don't want to be where we are right now, where we have like, if we're on like, let's say we have 40 people on the server and like 15 of them or more are sitting in dead chat doing nothing.
Are you gonna remove observer? That'd be great. Smiley face.
Remove observers. I don't.
We'll have to circle back on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta discuss that internally with the team.
There's some stuff that we're still debating on.
I will say, I think a big reason why people do that is to see like who's in the round doing what. I think having some, how Vanderland does it, where you can see who's ready up for what. I think having a system like that would help a lot.
Yeah, it's something that we have to look into a little bit more. It's like we basically have started this list of things that we're like, okay, we're gonna look at this, but not right now because we need to do X before we do Y. So that is one of those things that is on a list of things that we need to explore a little bit later on. I would say that, like just to reiterate real quick, the focus is going to be on the players in the round. It's going to be trying to eliminate like toxic behavior in general. And that might mean eliminating some things that people do in or expect in 13, but won't be in 14.
So is round removal gone? This is basically what I'm hearing.
I can't answer that.
Fair enough, but
there's no definitive answer to that yet. Okay. Because that's something that's still like in the development phase of things. It's more like, how do we approach those specific subjects? I'm going to let Pollard on stage in a second here too.
Well, I'm done anyway. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Is there anything else you want to ask? I'm not shooing you off.
I'm good. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I will. To the things that to everybody here, the things that I haven't been able to answer completely because we're holding information back, you will get answers to those things eventually. We will circle back to them. It's just a matter of where we are in the development process. All right. Well, thank you, Seren. I appreciate you asking those questions. Hello, gamer. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I just threw away about 150 million-esque worth of ships, so I'm doing okay. I just
Your
wanted
mic's a little low.
I had it away from my mouth because I was drinking.
Okay.
Nah, I wanted to clarify about the round removal thing. Even if we put a lot of dev time into reducing round removal sources, so such as in Paradise you have assassination targets, you have like megafauna that give you, and so on and so forth. Those things that are a round removal. There is no definitive way to 100% guarantee that there will be no round removal. If you die in deep space with nothing pointing to your general location, good luck.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
There is no getting rid of round removal forever because that would be a complete, even though we are coming at this with our own interpretation of everything, and a lot of changes and all of that, that's one of those core fundamental things we could never actually get rid of is round removal. That's mostly just something I wanted to clarify, Berza. I didn't mean to kick Seren off the stage or interrupt any questions. I just wanted to clarify something.
So right, there are. You're absolutely right, because there are things that you can't really control. You can't really, if you get lost exploring and there's nobody to retrieve you, I mean, you're essentially round removed. In regards to like that being objectives, or that like if that is going to be a focus or anything like that, that is where I can't say for certain yet, because we're still exploring that space a little bit. And that's going to be mostly because we're talking about what type of rules are we going to implement with the type of combat that we're looking to add, what in just like that general feel of how things are going to be, what type of objectives do we want our antagonists to engage in, and stuff like that. And that's also going to... What's that?
That's all. I said, of course. That's all stuff we have yet to discuss in the backside of things.
That's more or less what I'm telling them. Yeah, because it's like we're still
wasn't here for the majority of this meeting, so thus up until this point. But
no, it's been asked a couple times. So,
but yes, rules wise, as far as I'm aware, we don't really have too much concrete aside from what you'd probably expect from Paradise at this point. Don't ERP, don't throw out slurs, general understanding of things that will get you banned on 90% of servers.
If you haven't been able to tell, Pollard is a part of the 14 development team.
I honestly need to do more development on that. I haven't actually done much aside from upper level design, and I'm not a big fan of upper level design. I like to take a wrench and bash code with it, if you haven't realized.
Oh, I know who you are. I know who you were before we even had you as an HC. But yeah, no,
we don't really have a good way of putting it without putting a giant window and spotlight into how things are currently and the exact idea. This is a bit of a pivot from what we were, what we are now. We have no intention, at least I have no intention, of seeing the 13 server die whenever this goes into alpha or beta or even full launch. I have no intention of seeing 13 wither and fade until its time eventually comes, but that time is not now. This 14 server is a bit of a transition. It is going to be different. And it's going to be different in a way that hopefully makes us distinct from other servers on 14. Makes us distinct from how we are currently on 13. Bringing unique ideas, unique settings, and unique interactions to the table in ways that hopefully are enjoyable and fun. I know I'm probably sounding like corporate speak.
But it's basically no, you're good. But that's see, I told you guys this is what I've been saying. He just confirmed it. And we're trying to not. We're not getting rid of 13. That's not the intention. There's still content rolling for that. There's still projects rolling for that. 14 is a different thing. They know it's Oasis. I already spilled those beans.
All right.
But Oasis is not Paradise. And it will be some of the better things that we have learned while we've done our Paradise development. But
we've learned a lot of stuff with Paradise. Paradise is unique on Space Station 13, both in our content, which, while it is a bit dated, we do have quite a few things that are unique to us. But we also are unique in that Paradise has one of the most robust back ends out of any of the servers that that are on 13. Paradise's host, AA, has been amazing to us, and from what I know, he's on board with the 14 project as well, and will hopefully serve as host as well, because his experience hosting has been quite a boon for us, both in our performance regards and in general uptime. For the most part, Paradise has enjoyed being one of the more performant Space Station 13 servers on the board. A long while ago, when TG fractured, we actually hosted TG and TGMC for a while they were fail cascading in their leadership. And during that time, we didn't really experience much slowdown, and the players on TG stated
just TGMC.
Or TGMC stated that their performance was leagues better under our host. So going into 14, we have the experienced host, we have the resources that come with that, and more importantly, we have very robust dev structures. I've seen some of the dev structures that a lot of 14 servers have, and some of them look like glass houses that I want to throw bricks at. So I think as we go into this and as we get the foundations set up and we get everything built the way we want it to look for an alpha or a beta release, we will we'll look into getting things moving. I see there's a question for me from Seren. Seren, mass merges? No. No. Like always, I fully am in support of completely atomic PRs. If there is an omnibus PR that's being pushed, I will shove my foot up its ass and tell the PR maker to break it apart. If someone comes out and says we're porting half of Goob to Oasis, I'm going to simply say I'm going to say no. Burrs is going to say no. Whoever else is on development is going to say no. And we're going to hit them with foam baseball bats. And if they don't fix it, we're going to hit them with wooden baseball bats until things get resolved.
Yeah, that's not. We're going to we're going to have our normal quality control in place, and we're going to be having a little bit more than that with some of the linter stuff that we're currently looking at doing that's outside of what Space Station 14 is doing right now. We've just actually been working on that like last night and the night before, so that's something that, as far as like code quality and stuff goes, that's something that we plan on maintaining. And we the one thing I will say about Paradise is that we've had a lot of time to refine our development structure. Like Pollard was saying, we have a lot of experience. We've fine-tuned things. We were dealing with a PR volume back in 2024. We were dealing with a PR volume of 14 open PRs a day.
It was so bad that we had to put a freeze up for almost the entirety of summer on no new features because of how much was being put up. and how few reviews were going through. Now, I'm not saying that it probably wouldn't need to freeze if I was, a maintainer back then, because back then I was just an issue manager, but
I mean, we were still merging like 250 PRs a month back then.
yeah, we had on average like 150 open PRs at that time 2 years ago. For reference, we have from my last check 50 open PRs currently, so a third of that, and they're not flowing as quickly because we just have less PRs coming in, and a lot of the PRs that are opening up are larger PRs that take time to test. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now and let these two keep piloting this vessel and keep us open for questions.
Thank you for joining us, by the way. I appreciate you stopping by.
I'm still going to stick around. I'm just not going to.
No, I mean up here on stage, though.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. So, that being said, is there any more questions that we can answer for you in the meantime? Stuff about 14, stuff about, I don't know, if you got some development questions, you can bring it on forward. Seren wants to speak again. Hello, Seren, welcome back to the stage.
It's probably already been answered, but are we aiming for like a higher level of customization than Paradise has right now? What's kind of the gauge on that?
Like what what
like
regard?
Character customization with records and like physical things and all that.
I mean, that's probably something that will be more definitive down the line. I mean, we will be trying to keep what we like about the RP aspects that we have, like stuff like crew records and everything in place. So I don't see, and even a little bit more than that, since we're going into something new completely. Now,
I talked to Affected about this type of stuff before, and we will have the capability of, if we want to, doing cross linkage between Space Station 14 and our forums for account stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there is some stuff that we're looking into in that regard. So, I have no intention of not introducing more RP elements, stuff like that, because everybody who's known me for a little bit knows I harp on that stuff. So I will definitely look into what we can do and see how we can even make it better than what we have right now.
All right. This popped in my head, so I'll leave now. Bye-bye.
Yep, like Pollard said in chat, we're working on finishing and establishing those foundations first. Are we going to have a separate Discord for Oasis?
I already responded to that in chat.
Did we? Yeah, okay. That's more of a tomorrow thing. And there's also some stuff that, like, things can change. Stuff's in the air. We're figuring some other stuff out. There's stuff happening. Guys, there's stuff. Follow-up question. Example. Yes, it's a loaded question. Example. SS14 is heavily obsessed with right-click menus, for example. Imagine Paradise, but half the interactions are not through modifier keys, but instead through right-clicking. The delay before the pop-up. And there's a lot of systems in SS14 that don't feel right. Your code is strictly with the mindset of getting features in. The construction system is an example. Instead of spawning a girder, you must go through a complex alphabetical menu scrolling past pizza walls and banana. Okay. This is a UX question. So this is actually something that came up today. While I can say that we are not looking to make any major changes with the user experience right now, I will say that we intend to make improvements where we can. But there's just like like for example, there's a lot of hotkeys and stuff that is more abundant in Space Station 14. That's something I would recommend people lean on. You can change your keybinds, all that stuff. It's actually a pretty decent system once you get used to it. Now, as far as like right clicking and stuff, I mean, they still have like key click modifiers, I believe, in 14 to an extent. So, I mean, it's not, but that's like, I'm not going to say that we're going to do any major overhauls to that because we are also aiming to have more people be able to drop in to 14 that are already in that space, not necessarily cater to the people at 13 who are used to having things a certain way. They're two separate things at this point. Well, yeah, I know it's a bit unfortunate, but at the same time, it's more about like making ourselves accessible to a whole new player base that is just like 5 times larger than we are. So it's
to emphasize what was being talked about, like what Tojo says. One thing that we do want is obviously to cater to the 14 community as well as cater to the 13 community, especially Paradise, as it would be a terrible shame if we were to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That said, Tojo, one thing that is on, at least on my docket, is to increase the usability of a lot of the systems that 14 has. Like you're saying, how you got to scroll through this giant menu to find the one thing in construction that you want to build. That's one thing that I'd be happy to change, because obviously we recently actually changed our crafting system a bit. We actually changed that UI a good bit, so that it's not as dog shit where you have, like, if you use metal in your hand, you have drop downs now, you have all this other stuff, and I didn't code that. I'm terrible with TGUI, but it was coded because people found it a pain in the ass. So when it comes to these user elements, while I can say that whether or not each user element is going to be looked at on release is iffy at best, because again, there's only so many of us, and we are aiming for a release within the year, hopefully. I don't want to see this shit in 2028, because otherwise I'm going to have a conniption fit and whoop someone's ass. But I definitely say, when it comes to looking at these systems and looking at improving these systems, it's definitely something I want to do as we move forward. Now, I know that we had someone ask how many maps we're looking at. We're looking at just the one for now. However, a single map that we're looking at is going to be one of those things where it's like, we have to really make this one map work. If that one map is terrible, it won't go good. So, we're definitely working on that. But for now, we want to release with one really solid map, not a cheap, like someone took 3 seconds. Like, we want, like, if you remember how Emerald Station, the Diagoras, released, where we had all these very nice little details that are baked into the map that you could really tell that it was made with love. That's what I want to see in the map. That
look, I'm not to interrupt, but I will say what I did earlier in the meeting. We're not porting maps. It's not part of it's. We want to develop a map specifically to facilitate this new theme and idea for what our server is going to be based around. That it's going to be a little bit different. There is still a nice we still plan on, having a nice elegant space station, but that is something like we are specifically crafting towards the type of game that we're trying to create. And it's definitely a different vibe in a sense than what we have. Sure.
Did you tell anyone about the setting that we're aiming for? Or
I
is that still,
let's not talk about it yet.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, or is that one still in the Baroness? All right, that
That's-
one's
Yeah,
still in the
we
Baroness.
yeah.
hinted, but we're keeping that secret.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
stuff that
so
we're not telling them yet.
I know. I just wanted to see whether or not I could drop the ball here. But yes, there is
Be cryptic.
this it makes it a lot more difficult. I'm an American. I like to speak with transparency and money. But yeah. Calendar days. Plans on a multi-floor Z level. Fuck no. I have. Fuck no.
There's no multi. There's not multi Z. It's like all in one plane. It's a very big one plane thing.
But
So
yes.
no, there won't be any. There won't be any of that. There is a theme. We have talked about it, but I'm not spoiling it yet.
We have a theme. There is stuff being written. I'm part of the team writing it. Shit, I put myself on a massive deadline next week. But
we have certain mechanics too that we are going to explore. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
We're not giving it away. So, but it will be a little different.
What I can say is that it's a different. It's not. It's going to be different than what you're used to on Paradise, but it's going to be like a breath of fresh air. Tojo, if we add Pokemon, Nintendo's going to sue us. They just sued the United States. They're going to sue us if we did that.
Yeah,
that's
that's
Nanomobs. I'm not bringing back Nanomobs. That's a joke.
No, Nanomob is
it's not even worth doing an off-brand at this point.
It's dead.
Yeah, no, we ripped that out for a reason.
Nobody used it. It was unmaintained. It was buggy as hell because it was unmaintained, and it was unmaintained because nobody used it. It was one of those things where we could look at it and it'd be like, okay, so one person has touched Nanomob in 3 months.
Oh yeah,
Touched
Nanomob? If we approach the Power World devs saying, "Hey, can we use your stuff for Station 14 or 13?" They'll probably say, "Yeah, go ahead." Just say, "Screw you, Nintendo."
And yes, Alfie, they did sue the United States federal government. Politics reasons, believe it or not, that I'm not going to share in a community stage.
No, we're not talking about politics here.
So, I don't feel like having that bullseye painted on my head today.
We're not being political. That's not a thing.
So,
we're no politic.
only thing political I can say is go nano tracing, down with the syndicate. Now, in all seriousness, shoot questions. I'm still here. If I mute myself, I don't feel like I don't want to take over Burza or Dent's thing, so I'm going to shut back up again.
Anyway, like I said, there's stuff that we just are not going to be doing. There's stuff that we're still exploring answers for, and there's a lot of groundwork to be covered before we can get to some of these questions that have been being asked. Anybody else got anything they want to ask? The floor is open.
No,
I don't think we even have Vox right now, but I don't really dig that whole cannibalism thing. So, I don't know.
So I will say this as the Vox guy.
Oh,
From what
God.
I understand. Shush. 14 has Vox. In fact, 14 handles species very interestingly. For example, if I'm playing a Vox, and on some servers, if I want to eat, I cannot eat unless I take my mask off, which makes sense. If I want to throw something in my mouth, I can't have a gas mask in front of my face. So I have to go to a special area to go eat the food, or I have to hold my breath, which is another thing that 14 has on some servers, is breath being held. So whether or not we're going to have Vox, I'm going to say this. Berza is going to yell at me because I'm going to say straight up, I'm going to put Vox in this.
They're already in the game.
Yeah, they're already in the game, so you got nothing to worry about.
They're already. I already said that we're going to have all the species. That is eventually that is a goal. So
Yes.
you're not
But that
stepping
also
out of
means-
bounds on that one.
But yes, and the other thing I see questions on is books. The books are probably going to be staying on 13. I have no intention of porting these books to 14.
I don't.
Mostly because the library book system that we have on Paradise currently is unmaintained, hunk of shit, filled with 90% shit posts that are like 5 words or a dead meme, or God forbid, I could have sworn that we found a book that was Woody Got Wood that sat in the database for like 5 years before someone opened it and saw it was Woody Got Wood. So we have the library book system has its flaws, and I have no intention of bringing that system and its flaws to 14.
I don't think we'll be doing that. I haven't.
No.
It's just I don't really see the need for it at this present time.
They
And
may be a
it's
part of history, Ari, but some parts of history are better than other parts of history. And in this case, while I respect wanting to preserve history in this case, burn it. Hold a book burning. You can hold a book burning whenever you want, Ari. The connection button is right there on Beyond. You just connect, go to the library, print out as many books as you want, and throw them in a bonfire. You don't need to log into 14 for that. You can do that right now.
so library is. I mean, like, yeah, I don't. The book system, I don't want. That's just another thing that we have to maintain right now, and I just don't see the need for it. So we're gonna probably not do that. So as far as, like I said about species, though, that yeah, Vox are going to be there. We're going to try to get all of our species there, one way or the other, the ones that aren't present. As far as us changing to our version of Ulps versus Wisden's version of Ulps, if we're doing a lot of sprite stuff, that we want to take over from Paradise, then that's probably the route we will go, but I can't promise that. So we'll see.
I will say for species, as that we do plan on bringing the species over. However, one thing I have pushed very heavily in 13, and I'm going to push very heavily in 14, is a more species specific stuff, whether it be species traits, species abilities, species backgrounds, loreful items that sit there, loreful creatures that aren't from Earth. One of the biggest flaws I've had with 13, and one of the biggest criticisms I've had for 13 is, like, for example, you go to the botany. 90% of the plants in botany are plants that are found on Earth, or mutated variants of plants that are on Earth. You go to the kitchen. You go look at the livestock. Well, you got chickens, cows, and pigs. You don't have anything from like the Skrell home, or you don't got anything from Moe's. You don't got anything from wherever the fuck. You just have these human centric things. I've always pushed for more species dimorphism, or not dimorphism, but diversity. Not in like.
This is your TTRPG side coming out here. I can tell.
I've
Your
done
world building.
I'm into world building. I've actually, for full transparency, I've DM'd 4 tabletop RPG campaigns that have lasted years. So I've been DMing for about 12 years now. And I'm actually opening up another one in like a month. But yeah, so pushing for more species oriented stuff, pushing for more someone brought up customization, yes, but all of that kind of goes on the back burner until we have the foundation set, until you have that solid brick, will not move adjustment to what we have. Once we have the gameplay figured out, once we have the game loops figured out, once we have our core features figured out, and everything is flowing and good, then we can look into all of this extra stuff. One thing I saw just now, Dylan Neely asks, will Space Law be vaguely the same? That is something I'm putting a pin in, because while we have...
we can't answer that question. That's a question. We have to be vague there. We can't answer that question. It's something that's...
The vagueness will come in the sense of... Yes, murdering people is still illegal. Yes, stealing things is still illegal. Yes, there's still gonna be people that do bad things that end up in a jail cell. How that translates from 13 to 14 and how it translates with our new systems and Paradise's old systems and things like timers and all that other shit is going to be something that has to be developed still.
We're going to be open-ended about it right now. We can't say anything else. It's more like this is stuff that we are still trying to figure out, and there's also stuff that hasn't been written, and there's also stuff that we want to write differently. So it's all up in the air. Anything can happen, but there will be action. There will be violence. There will be stories to be told. All that kind of stuff.
Phoenix, is mayonnaise an instrument? No, Phoenix, mayonnaise is not an instrument. And before you put your hands up, horseradish is not an instrument either. So, 14, instruments. Speaking of instruments, from what I understand, 14 has new ways of handling instruments that are infinitely better than the way they are handled currently on Paradise. So hopefully we can maintain that as well.
Oh, we will. We don't even really have to do anything there, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty sure we already have that.
Yep. You can just play midis.
Yeah. And work as a team to have more than one player playing music to actually have a band, instead of have to do some crazy get everyone to push the button on the exact same game tick.
Yeah, no, there's like a sync button and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can go to the bar and have a band and role play that. There's a lot of cool stuff.
I fully expect for someone, like, I'm not going to make assumptions here, but if we have security chasing an Antag, if we have a group of 3 or 4 players chasing security, playing the Cantina Band song from Star Wars, you're going to need a new head coder, because my heart is going to leap out of my chest and I'm going to die of laughter. So, now.
No, that's actually as far.
No,
no, never mind.
Ari, that is not happening. Please ask more questions. That's why we're here. I know someone asked, how long is this going to go? Pretty much until the people here get tired, or until the questions stop. Ari, I mentioned this earlier. ERP is not happening, and I hate to say it, but that is going to not fall under ERP, but good God, is it going to be something that will encourage it? It's the same reason why we can't have nice things, such as bedrooms in the dorms.
There are no dorms.
Same reason why we cannot have people wearing pet collars.
So, what was I going to say?
No disarms and grabs, not having a role within combat. Will combat be expanded upon? Alex, I don't really have an answer for that yet. Combat is something that hopefully would get expanded upon at some point.
We can't. This something we just like. Yeah.
that's something that is so far on the back burner because we have other things that are prioritized over, say, intents and all that other stuff. I would love to add them. Personally, I love the intent system. Some people swear by combat mode.
We're not changing that. We're
But
it's no. We're not bringing that, unfortunately.
Versa says that, but not.
Oh, I say it. It's the no. We're staying with what everybody else has. No way.
But in all seriousness, combat text like that is something that's on the back burner. It's not a priority over getting the foundation. Once we have the foundation set up, once we have the core gameplay of Oasis hammered out and refined, then we can look at adding things that would be nice to have. Like, for example, I might want to add some old guns that I implemented on Paradise. Well, if I want to add guns, I'm going to need to make sure the foundation's set up first. Can't have guns if you don't have a way to shoot the guns.
Yeah, there's been a lot of me saying yes, but not right now. That's basically
has been bashing my head a lot lately with me saying stuff like, "Oh, this shouldn't be too hard," because I've gotten so used to coding for Paradise and everything else that it's genuinely not hard for me to add a new firearm. I could probably add 5 new firearms right now if I wanted to Paradise, and then Burza would yell at me. But for 14, it's very easy for me to say, yeah, I can do that. No, I can't.
It's just right now we're
limited. Yes.
Yeah, and we want to. Look, I'll be honest. I want the developers to concentrate on specific things before we get to that point where we are putting that kind of stuff into the game. This is something that this is something we've talked about, internally. So that's something that we're going to keep sticking to for now. And then once we get to that point, like I said, mostly when we decide to go from private to public, that will be when we start loosening up on that kind of thing and start adding more stuff in, more content like that.
Exusa Sprites Bug, you ask, do you think it'll be possible for people with no coding background to make small PRs, simple fixes, and the like, same as Beyond? How much more complicated is it going to be? You don't need a coding background to code for Space Station 13 or 14. If you've been coding for Space Station 13, you might have hiccups moving to 14 because Dreammaker is an utter dogshit language. That language is terrible. I hate coding in it, but I've gotten used to it, which is how I'm able to code good in it. But because 14 is coded in C# and it runs on its own engine, a robust toolbox, and it runs on a component-based system. Once you get affiliated with that, once you get used to that system, I imagine it would be much easier to code fixes, features, and other PRs for Space Station 14 in comparison to 13, because C# as a actual professional coding language that is used around the world and not just in a niche community has massive amounts of documentation, support, and other tools available to you to make it much easier to work with compared to a rusty piece of shit fucking completely dog water language from 1997. What else we got here? Yes,
so
DM sucks. C# good. If you can wrap your head around C#, yes, it's just probably going to be about the same. If you've coded for 13 for a while, it might take a while to adjust.
So this is stuff we were talking about earlier. We're going to be able, like right now, while we're in this preparation phase and stuff like that. Yes, it's from 1997. But while we're in this preparation phase and stuff like that, like a lot of what we are going to be doing is, a lot of the developers that are involved in this project are themselves learning the code base. They're learning, some of them are learning C#. I mean, I am not a C# guy. I know object-oriented programming, but even then, I'm a little rusty on this type of high-level language, and I gotta, kind of wrap my own head around it. But and ECS is a little bit of a different beast, but it still has some similarity to what we have with our own component system. It's one of those things that, you start small, like as far as like what your involvement as a contributor, and if like you want to do that, you start small and then you work your way up, and if you have like a more of like a coding or programming background or something like that, and you might be able to start a little bit higher on that list of things. Now if you want to like really get into the weeds before you see what contributing for us is going to be like, you can go over to Wisden, because that's where we're based out of, or that's the fork that we're based off of, is that the main upstream actually. They have 900 open issues right now. Oh no, I'm sorry, they have 3,000 open issues. They have 900 open PRs. So you can go over there and try to fix one of their issues if you like. That will give you.
Paradise was bad with 800 issues. Lord,
yeah.
Holy shit, we're at 900 issues now. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, that's the glory of having that in-game reporting system.
$5 says there's like 50 of these damn things that aren't even bugs.
Probably,
right.
But that's neither.
That's not here nor there. But in all seriousness, you don't need a coding background to do it. Just
there's 3,000 ones.
Open up the code base, look at the issues, look for an easy to fix issue. Probably something like a grammar, like someone misspelled a word. Just go in, change one letter, and boom! Congratulations, you're now officially a coder. Go get your GitHub contributor tag, and flex on all the people who have gray names.
What licenses are going to be in the new code base, same as now? They'll be very similar. There will be CC BYSA, BYSA, 3.0 and 4.0, depending on the content. Probably AGPL and possibly MIT, but I have to look on that last one. But definitely Creative Commons licenses will be used. It just there are certain licenses that we will have to reference, maybe like when we port stuff from other code bases in the 14 sphere. So like I noticed, like for example, Delta V has to link directly to Starlight's licenses on certain things, and it's probably because they're using a MIT version or something like that. But that's something that when we open up, that stuff will already be established, and it will be on the README documentation, which I've been working on.
What you're going to find with 14 is if you want to port something from one server to another, you know how we do things whenever we port something from Goon, we have to put it in its own special folder and treat it with these gloves and be all nice with it. We kind of got to do that with any server we port stuff from 14. So if we're based out of Wisden, but if we want to port something from Monolith, we need to put it in a Monolith folder, and all that. Ari asked a while ago, how are you going to pick people for the private playtest?
I have an idea about that, and I will post that, not right now, but I will let you all know when that happens. There will be there will be something else circulate around for that, but there's just a lot of stuff right now, so I'm not going to expand on that too much. You will see an announcement about it on the Paradise Discord, and there will be a link to something that you probably will just have to fill out. Probably like a Google form for all I know right now, but it's going to be something like that.
Do we need to have played SS14 before we even get into private testing?
No, not necessarily. I don't. That's.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Mix City. I have a whopping 1 hour logged on Space Station 14. I have not played much Space Station 14 because I have been quite busy with life, and I haven't played Space Station 14 prior to this project. I really do need to play more of it. I've been
Yes, you do. You are a maintainer on this project. You definitely need to play it.
I know. I need to do more. I've been busy. Damn it. Turns out when you get a lot of when you have a lot of responsibilities suddenly dropped on you at the exact same time, you tend to lose time. But I do need to play more 14. But if you need if you need to have played 14 for the playtest, I'm going to say no. And the reason being is because when we are playtesting, we don't want to just playtest for the people who have experience. We want to playtest for people who are.
No, I want a mix of things. Yeah.
Because if someone is brand new, we want to know what is a pain point for people who have never touched the system before.
I might ask you your hours for it in the form, but I'm not gonna. That's not gonna bar you from access or to the playtest. No. I'll be looking at other things, and I will tell you what that criteria is when the form comes up.
Bob, you asked me if I have a life. The answer is yes, I do, and I will happily give you the same spiel I've given probably 4 or 5 times now about all this shit I got to do this weekend.
No, just ignore them.
Not in this channel. Any other questions? Seems like it's pretty quiet, Ari. I can't imagine that there's going to be anything important if people don't ask.
Did you DM me, by the way? I have been drowned in stuff. I will, Ari, I will get back to you on that for sure. Absolutely, though. If you're still in here. I'll just message them. Okay. So
it looks like things are devolving in this chat.
Yeah, a little bit. So what I'm going to do is wrap this up. Is there anybody with any final questions that they would like to answer or like answered that I can possibly do?
Ted's got one for you.
Who's got one?
Ted. Hankins.
Will the slaves be rolling out after the first build is set? No. Will be. It will be when we decide that it's stable enough for that kind of thing. There's no definitive criteria on that yet. It's when we think that there is a game to play, or at least a semblance of a game to play.
We don't have a concrete date. We do not have a concrete point where we're going to say, okay, this is when we do the play test. We will go through, we will develop these systems, we will get this working in a way that is beneficial and, well, generally functional before we go and say, hey, by the way, it's play test time. Yeah.
There's not going to be any. There's no answer to that yet. I don't know. It's basically when I think it's basically when I think that there's enough content there to bring people in, and that's when we as a group decide we've hit enough of our milestones that we can start alpha testing and so on and so forth. So
the thing I will say is what I said earlier. If one of these motherfuckers says 2027 or 2028, I'm going to have a conniption. I want this done in 2026. Not done, but I want it to be kicking
It's not going to be that long. We don't have that kind of time.
You never know, Berza. People will drag you on.
Look, as the development lead, I will say that this project will be in somewhat of a playable state at least in this year. Okay? It will be this year. It won't be next year. Definitely won't be the year after. There will be something to show for it this year. Now, that being said, we have a lot of work to do on that, so soon, TM. Yes. If you want Now, real quick, I will touch on this thing again. Like Dant was saying before, like I've said earlier too, the current structure of the 13 admin team, dev team, all that stuff does not apply to 14. Not all the developers are over there. We are still looking for other developers or people who are interested in it at this time. Right now, the positions are developer, maintainer, and then whatever job that me and Death have. But
So you could probably guess that he referenced to me as a maintainer instead of a head coder earlier.
On this, yes, on 13, you are a big red
that's
name.
what I was saying. You pointed to me out as a maintainer and not a head coder, which is why it's a big difference. Big one is going to be we are looking for coders. Lord have mercy, we could use coders.
Spiders too. If you feel like you got a mastery of that, we're looking. So you want to come back? Krista just retired.
Yes, Sprite's good. Sprite's very good. Sprite's good. Give Sprites. Henkins, do you plan on asking coders already here to do some work for 14? I'm going to say I'm not going to personally reach out to anyone. I don't know their situation. But if you come forward to, say, Berza or myself or Denth, if you are interested in doing development work, you could ask them or myself or anyone else who's on the 14 development side of things. And we can look into getting you as a developer if you are interested.
Yeah, I haven't released any of the other names of any. I've only released numbers. So you are the first person to come forward and be like, yeah, I'm part of this. But
Berza, I've wanted to say that for 2 months now. So,
well, I mean, there was complications.
There was a lot of complications.
There's a lot of them, and now our hand is forced. This wouldn't have even happened until another month if things didn't happen the way they just unfolded. But
honestly, I'm happy that we finally at least revealed it because I'm tired of seeing people dooming.
When are we doing 14? Are we going to go to 14? What about Paradise 14?
I was sick and tired of the doom posting and everything else. And honestly,
I told them that shit's not allowed with Oasis. You're not. I will beat you with a stick. No doom posting. No molding. None of that. We're toxic
meetings will
free.
Continue until morale improves.
Yeah. Beat all that toxic crap out of all of you.
Talk about Sprite stuff when you finish up 2 projects you may be procrastinating on. Again, talk to Berza, talk to myself, talk to Denth. Sayer B, how experienced are you in C#?
Can you join the dev team?
When you say dev team, do you mean develop as in write code or develop as in write lore? Because
you took a whole semester of C#. Ooh.
Oh wow, it's 1 whole semester.
That's better than a lot of people.
It's a lot better than a lot of people. Sorry if I seem dismissive. I have a degree in this. I'm a software engineer, so it's 1 semester. Kind of it doesn't sound like a whole lot to me, but it's a whole lot to a lot of people.
That's a lot. That's a lot to a lot of the people that we have on staff right now.
That is. Serby, don't ping me about it. Go to Berza, go to Denth. I know I said you can ping me, but ultimately what I'm going to do is if you ping me is I'm going to say, hey, Berza, or hey, Denth, this guy says he knows stuff. Relating to sprites, will the guidelines for spriting still be standing? So, as said, team's completely different. The foundation is completely different. I would say probably not the same guidelines, but we do want to maintain quality sprites. We don't want to have We don't want to have the ugliest coder sprite being our giant contribution to Space Station 14. Lord knows that those are my sprites. But
Like how Sayer's asking everybody but me. That's let me.
Sayer clearly is biased against you, Bursa.
Yeah, he doesn't like me.
But in all seriousness, reach out to them, show interest, and they will discuss it. Things will be discussed, and then you could probably get in. As I said, we are looking for developers, and if you're genuinely interested and are able to keep a secret, yeah. Makes it.
Oh, see, you know what? That's why he just doesn't like me because I play Volp. I knew it was something. I knew it was some type of hatred towards me. I didn't know until now.
I don't know how he hates you because you play a Volt, but I play a Vox and somehow avoid it. Unless he's just scared I'm going to shoot him or something.
Ooh.
But in all seriousness,
no, I know. I'm just gonna kind of wind us down here and wrap this up. If you're still here and you are interested in a getting involved in development somehow, what you do is you do ping me. I will bring it to the table because it's not only my decision at this point. I mean, it's I'm gonna be able to know whether or not we're gonna be able to utilize you in that role of development right now, or if I can find something for you to do. I also have to have that be agreed upon with my buddy Denth here, because he is the one other person right now that shares personnel stuff, like as far as those concerns go. So and then eventually we'll say who's on the development team and stuff like that for 14. There's still like a lot of talks. If you are still here and you are a development member on 13, you can reach out to me too, and that is something that I will talk about with you. We do not have the to pull the curtain back a tiny bit. We do not have the regular structure of what we have on 13. It's a lot different now. You're either a developer, you're a maintainer, or you're like a special guy like Denth or AA or myself right now. So like maintainers they're the ones who are gonna do the big boy work. Developers are doing other work that's important, like writing lore, spriting, mapping, stuff like that. I mean, that can also fall on a maintainer, but that's basically how we're structured at the moment. Like I said, in the future, that might change. We're not there at any of that, like at this present time, where I'm worried about how our team is going to be structured for development on Oasis, but you're going to see a lot of the same people, a lot of familiar names, and chances are that there will be different positions and stuff like that. But like I said, if you are interested, come talk to me, and we'll see about like what we can do there. And I'll probably write something in Dev News about that too, so that it's a little bit more streamlined.
Ted asks,
what is this? Oh, I forgot that not everybody's been here at the same time. 14 is not called Paradise. 14 will be called Oasis.
Ted asks, is there a plan to get people interested or reaching out for coding spriting for Oasis?
Yes, me and Dev News.
Dev News.
And then maybe like teasing some stuff.
Yep. If you participate in the events that I try to run, I may drop hints in these events that I run. So, for example, I'm running a freighter event in a week. I would have run it today, but my current schedule is hell. But in a week, I plan on running a freighter event, and I may or may not drop lore hints in that. Of course, everything I got is got to be signed off on. But that's all It's all stuff that we're looking at.
There's a couple questions I'm going to answer real quick. Would the Oasis thing we're not being called? Why wouldn't that make a rift in the community? No, I don't see it that way. There's also another announcement happening tomorrow that I can't talk about yet. That Denth is probably talking about right now, or while he's typing. But no, yeah, I do not see it that way. They're two separate projects. As far as development goes, there is going to be some overlap, obviously, but nothing is stopping any of the current 13 development team from working on 13. Also, the other fact of the matter is right now is that we do not have a lot of development traffic for 13 at the moment. So if anything, this is like the time for us to do this. And if anything, us doing this and pulling stuff in, and it's still going to be under the same umbrella. And yeah, what Dent said, it's not a port of paradise. It's new gameplay, new staff. I mean, some of the same faces, but
completely brand new. Don't go in assuming it's going to be the same people. It's not just going to be, Burza, myself, Denth, Doc, Chaos, Exa, Bima, and Black Dog. Nah.
Sorry.
You haven't. I've just listed off a bunch of names. Some of you probably haven't heard in a long while. Good Lord, I haven't seen Exa in a hot minute, but or a Doc in a hot minute. But we're looking at new people entirely, not just within the Space Station 13 community, but within 14 as well.
Wait for the announcement tomorrow, and then you'll understand a little bit more. Wait for that announcement, and from whatever other stuff that I will be posting probably over the next week in Dev News for 14. Right now, it's still, like I said, it's in development, and there's some big bridges that we've still yet to cross. It's not going to be nations. Oh my God, Engine Tech. I already said it's not. I promise. Anyway,
Nations is cursed. I can say this very simply. Nations is the kind of event round that we need 3 or 4 admins on at any given time to run properly. And
only 3 or 4?
Well, it depends. If Silver is on, he counts for 3 on his own. But Nations is cursed. It's not happening. It ain't happening. If it does happen, I'm bonking someone on the head.
We're not. No, we are not doing that. No, I will get banned anybody who tries to bring nations.
Questions: are you going to be reaching out to other SS14 servers for stuff, coders, tips, whatsoever? There's a Space Station 14 coder bus. We have access to those tools.
Yes, the answer is yes to that.
Yeah.
There was somebody on the stage tonight who's on the staff at Delta V, and I asked if I could, ask them a bunch of questions and stuff and try to get some information out of them. So I'm probably going to utilize that, and anybody else who will, talk to me about it, because apparently it's making its rounds in the community. I got pinged. When I hit the announcement, I got pinged in 5 different Discords right after.
I will say that I'm going to probably do the Vox thing and find all the things that are not bolted down, such as spare coders, spare maintainers, and spare spriters. Pick them up, throw them in a shuttle, and bring them here.
We'll steal. We're gonna poach people. We're gonna steal. We're gonna commit crimes of development.
People are,
but not of bad code. not bad code crimes, like us poaching people.
Yeah, no. To
No,
be
I
fair,
mean,
to be fair,
we
all
think
have
that
fun.
actually just from talking to Delta V a little bit, I do think some of them will actually get involved. At least one person I know right now. So
What's
I
going to
imagine
happen
that
to
there will be some more.
Paradise in terms of head staff?
That's a Denth question, and as far as what that structure is going to look like on Oasis, I can't answer that yet. That's something that we need to talk about, and that's also something that's going to play into tomorrow's announcement, and that's also like Denth is the guy to like specifically ask on that one. Like he's gonna be able to give you a little bit more of a definitive answer. I haven't looked in admin chat for a little bit now because I've been watching this one, so I can't say for certain
God
if he's already
forbid,
talked about it.
One question I saw that was unanswered was, when is the code base going to go public? The answer is probably going to be along the lines of when we open up. When we have determined that the quality of our features and our code is good enough to be open up to the public for playing, it is probably going to be around the same time
Yeah, it will be. It will be whenever we conclude private testing. That's when it will go public. It will
Where
be
is on a calendar? Sometime before December 31st, 2026, and sometime after March 8th, 2026.
yeah. So it will be the date right now is the set date right now is December 31st at 11:59 p.m. So we can stay within the stay within the year window that we've set for ourselves. No, it will be
sync up the public release, right? It's a New York law drop. But nah, in all seriousness, the answer is it'll get there when it gets there. It'll be this year. So it will be kept up to date in the development and general announcements.
Yep. It will, like I said, the big thing that we are looking for when we decide for that kind of decision will be, excuse me, will be when we've concluded enough public testing or enough private testing, and we have decided that there's enough gameplay fundamentals that exist that is already implemented to be able to let it function on its own. Now, whether that's going to be to the public and then open 24/7, I don't know. It might be scheduled times at first. It might be, just for the weekends, or it might be like 3 days a week. I don't know yet. That's also going to depend on a lot of other factors, like how we're hosting it, and a few other things that I cannot say as of yet, because that's like a conversation that I have to have with Denth and Affected, and we just haven't gotten to that point yet. So
Denth brings up something pretty interesting in the chat. SS14 will have activity requirements on its staff and leadership roles. This is something that I've pushed forward. It's something I pushed forward in 13 as well, and I've kind of fallen on blank ears for. If you are staff on 14, there will be activity requirements for you. We can't have admins that are, we can't have people who have a blue name who have not logged in for 3 months. More importantly, we can't have people who have a blue name who have not played a round in 3 months. Not just talking people who have blue names who go in, push observer for 2 hours and then leave. I mean people who actually log in every,
there will be some form of activity requirements. I mean, as far as like the exact amount or whatever, that's not something that we've gone over yet. And to answer the Dengus question, basically what Dent said is yes, but if they want to, it's up to them. And he's busy right now, I know, for a little bit.
Let me up to him.
And I don't know if he wants to, or if it's feasible to move or put a version of the elk stack on our system for 14. I don't know yet. I haven't thought about analytics yet. I haven't thought about logging. I know the admin tools are fairly different. There's a lot more admin tools, actually. You have the ability to do a lot more. We were testing them, some of them tonight, actually.
I was gonna say
Another
don't
very
have press buttons from 10 years ago that don't work anymore.
yeah. One
So
very good admin tool is you can watch a round after it happened. You can replay rounds and like fast forward and rewind and all that stuff. So there's no guesswork with it. You can see exactly what happened. It's not like there's no like log deciphering. There's still logging, but like, so you don't have to always do it that way. You can
gets rid of the he
yeah.
said, she said bullshit that plagues things sometimes when there is something that is not robustly logged or otherwise described, making it so that if someone is breaking the rules in a way that is not robustly logged, we can easily go and say, "Oh, yeah,
no, it won't shoot
ain't
through
right."
storage because it's not like a movie. It's not like a media file. It's like it records positional data and stuff like that and just basically recreates it.
So if you
Yeah, like source demos. Yeah, exactly.
There's another game that does something similar to this on a much smaller scale. And I hate to bring it up, but fucking World of Tanks does that. Whenever you have a round, it saves that round as a recording that you can load up. It boots up in engine, and then you can see where everyone's going. You can see where how everything goes, every shot placement, every damage number, the works. And I imagine this functions the same way, where it's an in-engine kind of system. It's not like an MP4 file. So it makes it so that you have, I imagine it's a lot of JSON data, a lot of positional JSON data. That's what
it's basically that's exactly what it is. It's just a lot of like taking
JSON data is very efficient from a storage perspective. So it probably big difference. Video, you have sound, you have pixels and all this other shit, very, very bulky on the data requirements. But when you have all of the structures already set up in engine,
all you have to do is hit the play button and then it just executes the code.
All you need to do is know where those objects are at any given time, and that's easily stored with a JSON file. So for an admin side, that's very big. Plan structure, how Oasis will start being built upon. Xing coders will be assigned to.
No. I would say that right now that the way that I'm doing it right now is that I'm focusing our attention on a few different things, but it's not like this isn't like an agile team where I'm throwing like specific. Or maybe it is. I'm going to say agile 100 times and I'm going to piss Pollard off. No.
If you drag me into a scrum meeting, I will walk out.
No,
I will very easily walk out. I am not doing no damn scrum meetings. I hate those.
We need to make an epic with user stories that are like, a certain amount of points on the board. No,
we're doing waterfall on this bitch.
Well, it is kind of waterfall, sort of.
So to put it in ways that people who don't have computer science degrees understand, what we're looking at is he points us in a direction, and we go. That direction is not we absolutely 100% need to have this specific feature done. But more
that might be certain things that are that, but it's mostly not.
It's mostly not. It's a lot of it is, this is the idea, this is the direction. Direct your development time in this direction instead of getting bogged down with. I believe I said shotgun earlier.
I think you said guns, or I'm trying to think of ones that you wanted to bring into 14.
So
I don't want to spoil it all yet.
I was joking, but what I was saying is, like earlier, you can shotgun out where you have everyone kind of doing their own thing, developing their own thing, and eventually that produces an amalgamation that you can call a code base. Or you can have people directed towards certain things that aren't really concrete, but a direction where now you have things that you know are built.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of, I will say this, right now there's going to be a lot of modifying existing, not even necessarily code, but like stuff that's just like, there's a lot of writing to do. And then the other thing about it is that there's going to be like demolition stuff that we need to do where we need to remove certain things or turn certain things off for the time being. I can't really say exactly yet, but stuff like that.
If you want Buckshot back, you got to convince Burza. I love Buckshot. I love the meme with Buckshot.
What's your argument for Buckshot?
Simple. It stops crime.
No, I want to hear Engine's argument. We're getting Buckshot back. What's the argument? What's your pitch? How are you going to convince me that I'm going to let Buckshot come back?
In all seriousness, going back to it, stops crime in its tracks. Blackmail, that's not a very good one.
I don't know. There's probably very little that I would care about you blackmailing me on.
But in all seriousness,
like look at my profile picture. I'm not very ashamed of anything.
To be fair, it's a brand new profile picture. You've been Courage the Cowardly Dog for years now.
No, not years. I don't think years.
Years.
I was doing different F1 pictures during last season.
I don't watch F1. I don't pay attention to that shit.
That's fair.
What if I want to go clay pigeon shooting in space?
If you're shooting clay pigeons with buckshot, your shoulder is going to be fucking. Yeah, like why?
Birdshot.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, your shoulder is gonna be fucked by the end of the day.
Well, it's not gonna be your shoulder. It's going to be you're not gonna hit him.
Buckshot, that's true too. Yeah.
Like having fired birdshot and buckshot quite a few times in my life. Buckshot, birdshot does not have a giant difference in how much it kicks. The big difference is going to be that birdshot is tons of really tiny pellets, and buckshot is like 6 really big pellets. But it depends again. Depends on the size of your shotgun. Depends on the size of your round, whether it's double up buck, triple up buck, so on and so forth. Yeah.
I have a Remington 870 that I like for clay shooting, but that's anyway.
City, a better comparison. Birdshot won't kill a man. It'll pepper him up real good. Buckshot will put a hole in a car door if you want it to.
It's true.
Let's see.
Is there? All right. I know we're getting a little memey now, but
we're off topic.
Is there? I'm gonna close this up unless there is an actual serious question left in the room. You got 5 seconds.
I think there was one. I just gotta look up a bit, see if I can find it real quick. Someone asked a while ago about, or it wasn't a question, it was a comment. 90% of what Pharaz stuff is mechanics-wise. Look at Goob code. Not good code quality at all, but at least they did it. That is true. One thing I have noticed is that Goob has been porting a lot of stuff that Paradise has created. A lot of things that are Paradise unique. So with that in mind, I can see definitely looking at Goob for implementing some of the stuff that we like on Para into 14, just porting it from them. because they poured it from us first. So, I mean, it's not stealing if they already took it from us. But yeah. What else is there? It's not stealing. We're just moving things. Yeah, if that's it, though, there is going to be announcements tomorrow, as they said. Sorry, I missed most of this meeting, but that happens. If we're going to fight space horrors, I want them dead, not littered with pebbles. Again, yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. Any questions whatsoever? There is 13 of you in the audience, so I think most of them have gone to bed. Well, I guess.
Oh, there it goes.
Since he's still here, what's the opinion on funny items being added? This is a funny spaceman space game with a clown on the crew manifest. So funny items are going to be mandatory, and I encourage it, but not at this time.
I will say that as far as funny meme kind of stuff right now, there is probably going to be some things that we in the existing code base that we remove, and there's stuff that we want to keep. It just kind of depends how that could affect the round, and that's more something that we talk about after we get a few other things established, and but we will get there.
If you remove the clown, I'm out.
We're not removing clown. I didn't say that. I'm not removing clown.
I'm sure if we remove the clown, Scumzo would personally rip our server apart.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to remove clown. I like clown. Clown's like actually funny.
You have to have clown because it provides comedic relief. If things are too serious, things are kind of boring. So yeah. But in terms of adding funny items, I think it follows the general gist of things currently, where the idea is we focus on the foundational frameworks of Oasis, and then once we have those frameworks established and people can start doing their own things, I can see funny items being added alongside PRs just because it's good to have funny items, if not in standard rounds, but to also have them in events and similar things.
Yeah, it's like I said, like anything. At this point, it's just all going to depend. And like right now, as far as like my bandwidth to think of like specific things or specific answers to, can we have this specific item in game? It's going to be like, ask me again in, I don't know, like when we go public, I guess, you know, because there's just too much right now. And I mean, I'm still answering like DMs and stuff from when I ping this thing. But
last question, how will staff structure look when first builds are set and admins start getting assigned?
Just like it is now, probably. Or not like it is on 13. It's just going to be what it is on 14. That's not, I mean, yeah, we're going to keep it simple for now. Now, if we add more positions, we will, let you guys know about that. But you're either development or you're maintainer or you're actually, there is an admin position. We do have an admin position technically. It's just we haven't really assigned anybody to that yet. Not even devs who are admins on 13. So
it just got locked, but since we still have people in the voice, Alex asked, when you say that things are things happen the way they did, what did you even mean? and he said that in regards to keeping the project under wraps, he just wants to kind of know what's going on with that statement.
Wait,
Yes,
let me say that when you say when things happen the way they did, what do you mean?
The channel's been
Oh,
locked.
what with 14 being announced and why I announced it? I'm not going to talk about that. That's stuff that's like behind the scenes stuff. There's no reason for me to bring it up other than that we didn't plan on having this for another month, but I don't want to talk about what may or may not have happened. Just it's not relevant at this point. Don't worry about it. That's what I say. We to be honest, we thought this was the right time because of there was a lot of people, you know, one of the reasons a lot of people were asking about what we were going to do or if 14 was the thing and stuff like that, and we just thought it might be a good time to answer those questions with an announcement. And what Den said there, yes. And thank you, Denth, for helping me get this organized. And yeah, that's going to be it. If, like I said, if you're interested in dev positions or contributing and you think that you have the stuff, send me a ping somewhere or DM or something, and I will get to you and we can talk it over. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I know it's went on way longer than I thought it was going to be.
If we have enough interest, when things start to get more underway, once the foundations are nearly done, if you remember a month ago or so, I held a code, like a code class almost as an event. Earlier,
you want to do the Sir Ryan thing? Yeah, that's fine.
Probably do that again at some point once things start to become more developed, so that I could show people who haven't developed for 14. And mind you, I personally have not developed for 14. I just write C# as a job.
Yeah, I would see that as a benefit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just so that people know what they're doing and how to do even small things, because even small fixes make the world a difference.
Yeah, I don't care if you're like there. You can make a major fix by doing like a one word PR. You know, it's sometimes that's what it actually comes down to. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind, and I will definitely end up talking to you about that when we get to a point where we're ready to do that. I don't know if we should do one internally, but actually, you know what? I will DM you about that in a little bit, or maybe tomorrow, because I'm kind of like tired.
It's 1 in the morning. I don't blame you, but
I haven't eaten yet.
Sorry, I have a lot of writing I need to do, but I'm not going to say when we do it, it's going to be. I want it to be public because 1, I like answering questions, and 2, even if someone is not interested in developing for 14, having the skills to code in C# is a life skill. That is not just a skill that says I can code for Space Station 14. That is something that can be applied to real life.
Shit, man, I'm gonna be there. I know a little. I don't have that much experience with C# myself. My experience is in like JavaScript and Python and a little bit of Java now. Well, now more Java now.
Being able to write that you have C# experience on a resume, if you're going for any job that involves computers, even if it is not a development job, is still a huge boon. So when it comes to doing this as a example, like a demonstration, a coding class, it would be something that, while I would love to teach it, it would definitely need to be public so that not only is it benefiting the Space Station 14 development cycle, but it's also benefiting just people as a whole. We are a community first and foremost. Even though we are looking at this Oasis project, we are still a community, and because we are a community, we don't want to say, "Oh, you're only on the Oasis team. You're not." Blah blah blah. No, we need to focus on the fact that we are Paradise, or we are this group of people, and we're not. I'm not. I don't want to change that. So, yeah. That's all I've got. It's 12:50 a.m. for me. I have, as I said, a lot of writing to do. I have to write about 2,000 words by 4 hours from now. I got to do my weekly chapter, so I'm going to get
Always
on that.
busy.
I'm not always busy. I'm just doing
Moderately busy.
I'm just doing IT work for an Air Force banquet. It's not that busy.
Okay. I got you. No, thank you both. Thank you everybody who's still listening to us ramble. I'm gonna go eat some food and answer a bunch of unanswered messages. You all have a good one.
Yep, you as well. And if there's any questions about the development side of things that I can answer, reach out to me, reach out to Burza, reach out to Denth. I'm not admin on it, but I will point you to Burza.
Oh, you are a maintainer, so that is you are the first known maintainer. So
I'm about as good as maintaining as anyone on that in this project. So, number
God.
of PRs that this maintainer has on 14. Goose egg.
Oh man.
So, but
I'm tied with like one other person.
Don't worry.
T-minus 30. All right, Denth is kicking us out of here. All right, I'm out. Bye bye.
Out. We're going. Get.